Okay, sorry about that. Alright, so I'm gonna give it a couple minutes to connect to the different servers here, because I'm not just streaming on Facebook, I'm streaming on a bunch of different platforms here. Now I'm gonna open up the Facebook chat. Hey, what's up, Rashid? I think that's how you say your name, I'm not really sure. Thanks for joining the stream. Gonna see how it goes during the day this time rather than in the middle of the night. I'm streaming across multi-platforms here, so I've got Periscope, Twitch, YouTube, and Facebook are the main ones that I'm doing, and a couple other ones from Restream. But I'm just gonna give it a second here to catch up, and I'm gonna start turning off the animation loop here, because it should be about caught up here. It looks like YouTube's still connecting, but YouTube seems to take the longest here. Alright, so if you're looking at my screen, you can see that I'm using Unity. I've got my game set up here. Alright. So here, oh, and the music is a group that I was in back in the day. It's going to stretch from like 2011 to 2015 or so today from the playlist that I've made. It's me and Eric Olson, who's a professional musician today. Okay, so here, this is a scene that I started working on yesterday. So I'll just play it to show it off a bit here. Oh no, this is the beginning. Okay, so there's a few graphical errors that I noticed in this level that I need to fix. I'm not really sure when they came about, because I didn't notice them until recently. But it's just a couple little things like with the layers and the 2D sprites and stuff. So I could probably do that pretty quick here. What was the issue? Right up here. Oh, it's like it's missing completely. Must have got deleted somehow or something. But that's no issue. It was just the same as what it was over here. So if you have any questions, feel free to ask. I'm watching the chat in Twitch and on Facebook here. Basically, this is the first level right now, and I'm trying to make a new first level that I was working on yesterday, but I noticed some issues. Oh, it's like, it's like it's there. It's just behind everything or something. Yeah, totally. So there's something going on with the Z. Oh. That's weird. I don't know. It's been acting funny ever since that new update, to be honest. Just rely on my eyes mostly, but the zoom with this pixel art is weird. It acts funny. Alright, so just duplicate. Oh, forgot to hit the duplicate. Control D for duplicate, obviously. And yeah, that's got the animation controller on the parent. This is just easier than fixing the Z. I mean, granted, I've got duplicate game objects now, but yeah, I'll have to like sort that out eventually. This is alpha. In many ways, it still plays like a prototype, but I'm working that out. Alright, so I'm moving on back to the scene that I was working on yesterday. Alright, so in this one I made a tube mechanic. Now I haven't made all the art. I forgot to make the angles. And I didn't animate the vertical tube because that would just take extra effort. I figured I should have the art first. Alright, so here's the game. And this is going to be like the tutorial level because, like I said, the game was too hard before. Everyone was complaining about it being too hard. So I made it so you can't get hit by the ball. And I made it so you kind of learn how the mechanics work. Now, there's a ceiling there. Now I'm going to put a door on that end of the tube because that's not the end that you want to go into. I'm actually trying to hit the ball the other way. It's just not cooperating. See, now what I'm thinking about doing, because you know I've been watching a lot about game development over the years, and people talk about like fudging the parameters in order to fit the gameplay, and I think that's what I'm going to do here for this tutorial level. Is I'm going to change the pinball element here, because if you look here, it's a little bit confusing, but it's got all of these different colliders. Now this is what tells it what direction to go, which is why multi-ball is going to be difficult. So I might have to work something better than this to get the multi-ball working, but for now this is working. And I haven't actually tried it with multiple versions of this. It might not slow down the system. It might be okay, but that is a lot of colliders, and they each all have script on them, so it's going to be running a lot of scripts. Granted, it only runs the script when it gets hit, so yeah. So anyways, what I'm going to do by fudging, what I mean is I'm just going to take this big one, which I've already fudged, and I'm gonna defudge it. So I'm just gonna take it back down and make it the size of the rest of them. Now hopefully there's no dead zones. That was an issue I was having before, where the bullet would hit right between the colliders, and it would hit this inside collider first. And then there's even another inside collider, and I can't remember why I used that, but I don't think it's getting hit. I think it's like a third line of defense. Okay, but there is a little bit of weirdness going on between these two. Which one? This one and that? No, that one. These two. This one's just a little bit higher. So I'm just going to copy this. And that looks better. Okay, so I'm gonna see how this new pinball works now that I've defudged the fudging, because it was too hard to get it to go vertical on the vertical levels, and now this is a horizontal level. But it's not going to be completely horizontal. It's just teaching the player that you have to move the ball sideways sometimes. And I don't know. I might start with a tutorial level that's vertical and then move on to this, because it might be too confusing for someone who thinks that the game is going to be mostly horizontal and is probably going to be mostly vertical with elements of horizontal. But I do want to figure out how to make it so that the player doesn't die. Okay. And then it goes into the tube, and it came out over here. You know, last night I was having trouble debating what I was going to do with the camera. But now I feel like I think I know what I'm going to do. I'm just going to like make the player find the ball, maybe, because it's got the arrow, right? And it kind of is exciting, like, oh crap, where'd the ball go? And if I program it correctly so it puts it in a safe spot, you can like take a minute to find it then. And and then you would just be going like side to side looking for it. And I plan on making the dash look more appealing and look more like an attack, like give it a green force field or something. So now it's back to being difficult to get it back up, but there's this convenient porthole here. And I got it up anyways. Really, it just takes a little bit of patience to get it upwards, but once you have an impact thing, things going flying, right? I'm all the way back at the other side. Oh. This is where the remains of the other level is that I started building this one, because I've just been copy and pasting the levels, and then yeah. Oh. So as you can see, the level's not complete yet. So I'm gonna play a little bit of the game here, just to play around for a bit, and then I'll get back to work. And oh, this isn't the level. Stopped. It was almost like I clicked off the game, but I didn't. What is this null reference I'm getting there? Pause. Okay. The goal receptacle is not set. Is that what it's trying to look for? I'm looking in the script here. Weird. I guess I better set that. What is it looking for? Receptacle is goal open script. Okay. Where is that at? Oh, goal open script is turned on. I guess it's not gonna hurt if I plug it in. level 2. There's an Easter egg that I programmed in. There's a level select button there. Oh, and this level's just too hard, so I'm gonna start working on that because I'm just going by the fly here. This level. Alright, so it's far too difficult. If these things were closer, it would make it easier. So I think I'm gonna make bumpers that disappear after you hit them also, and then ones that come back after a certain amount of time. So there'll be like a variety of bumpers. Hey everybody, thanks for joining.
What is the new art of conversation?
The new art of conversation is learning how to cut through all the BS. Through all the BS and find out exactly what kind of individual you want to be.
Why is it important?
It's important to communicate effectively in order to promote yourself positively and constructively with the opposite.
How does a woman promote?
What's up, Chelsea? Just making my game here. Feel free to join in the chat. What's going on, Adam? Hey, sorry I missed when you were leaving last night. I meant to say bye, but I was looking at the other chat and getting carried away in the game.
Something that I'm not. I want them to know what I really am. What I really am. Something that I'm not. I want them to know what I really am. And you believe in something that you should stick up for what you believe in.
Joy turns to fear.
Not a mouse.
But there's such thing is, you know, you could be wrong. You could be wrong. And everybody's opinion would be something else.
My comments would be honest. One thing, like, you know, comment, I don't think anybody really should.
What is the new art of conversation?
The new art of conversation is learning how to cut through all the BS. Through all the BS. Find out exactly what kind of individual you want to be.
Why is it important?
It's important to communicate effectively in order to promote yourself positively and constructively with the opposite.
How does a woman promote?
Support your local travel agent.
Alright, so now the level's probably going to be easier because there's less room to fall into the sun, or to the star, and there's more bumpers at the bottom. The edges should be safe, and it looks symmetrical, so it should be decent, should be better. This is going to be a later level in the game. Right now it's only like the second level in the game, but it's just not set up properly. It's still alpha. Alright, so yeah, that's nice. You can't really die there unless you really mess it up. It's nice because it kind of sets it in there in a way that it's going to bounce back out. Now, later in the game, I'm going to animate the level blocks, so if you think this is going to be too easy, it can always get harder. I can't wait to make it harder, but I need to get people to learn how to play it easy first. Which means I'll probably have to up the rate and the speed of the bullets. I might as well just do that now. Alright, let's see here. We've got our shot control. That's our rate, the shot wait time. And then the bullet speed in, but that's all for the power up. Everything in the bullet speed is actually done on the bullet. So first let's play with the rate. We'll just bring it down a tenth. And save that. Well, first let's do the bullet. Where's that? Now the bullet will change across scenes, whereas the player is not a prefab. Or it probably should be, but oh look, it is. But it's not there. So I must have made it and then not linked it or whatever. It's cool. It'll work eventually. I just need to go across scenes and change it. Alright, so looking for the shot one. We got our speed here. Let's change that by 20. Actually, I think it might be this one we want to change. Let's change them both. 70. Alright, and that automatically applies it since I did it from the prefab folder. So let's see what our new bullets look like. Okay, so they're coming out faster and they're moving faster right off the bat. As you can tell, the game just got a lot easier. Oh. It's still not super easy. Oh, and I still died. Alright, so it's still difficult. Thanks everyone for watching. I'm just showing off my game here and making minute changes in the level design, trying to make the game easier. People have told me it's too hard. If you want to play the game, you can play it online for free. itch.io, and then you can just search Retro Spaceball. That's the name of the game, Retro Spaceball. And you can just follow the link on the bottom of the video as well. It's pretty fun. From what I've heard, other people are having fun playing it too. I kind of like just sitting and playing it, to be honest. Like, I just bought a game, and I'm more excited to keep working on this. It wasn't an expensive game, it was on a Steam sale, Alien Isolation. It was like, I think 12 bucks or something with all the expansions or whatever. It's hard to turn down. I was watching someone stream it, and it looked pretty decent, so. But I still haven't played it yet, because this is more exciting, and more meaningful to me. And also, yeah, I mean, playing a game, I don't know, I am playing a game. I'm getting pretty good at my own game here too. So I've made it into the upper tier. There's the ceiling. Can't see my shield. Oh, I've got none. I cannot get hit. So there's our null reference for the goal script being turned off. Not working. Bounce, bounce, get into the goal. That's the goal up there. It's like the basket, if you will. No, no. Oh. Did I get another shield somehow? I almost beat it. I think I'm gonna make the bullets blink before they disappear. So that way, you know, seconds before the ball's not going to hit it, that it's not going to hit it. I think that would make the game even more like enjoyable, maybe, or frustrating. I'm not sure. Depends if you get enjoyment out of frustration. So there's a graphical error with the bullets. Whenever they're shooting out too fast, that tends to happen. It's like it runs out and starts using it from the other pool, but it's not even programmed to do that. It's programmed to do something completely different with those green. The green ones are supposed to change your bullets, and the yellow ones. And then the combination of both would be the third. Or the fourth, I suppose, since this is the first. There we go. So to get it really high, it takes a combination of hitting it with the green bullets when you have the opportunity, and getting the power-ups when you have the opportunity, obviously, and then also dashing when you don't have any other opportunity, because sometimes that can save your bacon, although other times it'll kill you because it's difficult if you can't get the timing of the dash down right. It's a little bit easier on a mobile device. On the computer it's a little rougher. I was thinking about incorporating the space bar actually to make it a little bit easier. I wonder how difficult that would be to do. I think I'm going to do that. I'm going to go into my scripts here. I'm going to look for my player control. Well, there's shoot control. Player control. Now here, I want to make sure this is the right script. Okay, yeah, this has all the dashing in it. So I'm just going to change the dash a little bit here. I'm going to start by making a boolean. A boolean is like on and off, like a binary. Okay, so I'm going to call it space held. And I might need to add more later, but that'll help for now. Okay, so what we're gonna do is first we're gonna make it for the computer. Well, we're only making this for the computer, yeah. So we're gonna just add a input here. So we'll throw it right in the beginning. Well, no, not in the beginning, because we don't want it to be blocked. If it's blocked, we don't want it to have... Well, I guess it doesn't matter, because it's going to check anyways. We'll just put it at the beginning. Alright, so if... I did that wrong. Here we go. Just gonna paste that there. And then that there. Alright, so if the key code is... No, I think it's just space. But I'm not sure, so I'm gonna look it up, because I really don't know what the key code is off the top of my head. I don't use key codes that often, or at least the space part, and I think it's just space though. So I'm just gonna look that up real quick here. looks like I was correct. Get key down, get key up, blah blah blah. Get this out of here. There it is. Key code space. That's what I wrote. Key code space. So if you hit, alright, so if get key down, that means it's not being held down, but as it gets pushed down the first time. So it's only running the function once, or the conditional once. Alright, so if it gets that, then we're gonna call it space held true equals true here. Alright, so space, I think that's what it's called, right? Space held. Yeah, space held. And then we're gonna do the opposite. And false. False. Okay. So now, if the spacebar is held, then it says that there's a boolean that says that it's held. So now, will dash left. Alright, so I need to go back and look at how it was scripted a little bit, because I'm not quite sure exactly. I don't remember. Okay, so we've got, these are the button logic. We have will dash left and right. Alright, so I'm going to go back to the top where the computer script is, because like I said, it's cross-platform. I'm making this for mobile and computers. So, but this particular mechanic only needs to happen on the computer because it's much easier to dash on the phone. Alright, and that's what we're doing here, is we're making it easier to dash. Alright. What's up, Ricky? Trying to show how to script a little bit here, trying to make it easier to dash by holding down the space bar. Alright. I got it. The easiest way to do would be to, I'm just gonna make a function outside of the update because update's getting a little crazy there. Public void, and we're just gonna call it space dash, which sounds really generic, but it's actually talking about the space bar. Alright, and then so we're gonna run this function every time we do this. And it's just going to say will dash equals true, or no, that's not what I want. I want if will dash, or if not will dash L, we're gonna say will dash L equals true. And then we're gonna do the same thing for our right. And okay. And then we're gonna throw the else's in here. Else. Oh, I tend to do that. Okay, and then so if it is true, and we're gonna say make it false. And I think this should work, unless I'm overlooking something, but the best way to find out is to test it. But essentially this should just flip-flop the boolean and also flip-flop these other booleans as well. So and these other booleans allow it so you can dash. So now if space is held, it should change will dash left and will dash right to be true, unless of course they are true, in which case it would make them not true. Of course, just hitting the button A or D again is going to reset the timers, so it should work. Let's try it. Let me make sure here. Yeah, it should work. Alright. No errors, that's good. Oh. Alright, so now, alright, so that's not working. So I'm gonna make a print function. I usually just copy and paste them, but it's easy to remember. What is it? So every time it happens here, it's gonna say print will dash left equals true, and then semicolon, and we're just gonna do that here and here and here, and we're gonna rename them accordingly. Oh, and this one was never renamed in the first place, so that's an issue. Oh, you passed out during the stream. Hey man, it's cool. You know, gave me another viewer for longer. That's cool, man. It happens. Thanks for joining today. You know. Alright, let's see if this works. Let's see if this works. Alright, so I'm going to turn on my messages here, and there's probably a lot of them being displayed. When you build the game, it turns off these messages automatically, so it's not going to slow down the game. But, alright, so as you can see, just shooting the ball is making it go crazy. And then all of these enemies is also making it go crazy. But if I hold down spacebar, I'm seeing it in there. It'd be easier if I pause it. Maybe not, because it won't register the button hit while it's paused. Oh, it's working now. It's totally working. Absolutely. But only sometimes. Oh, and now it's stuck on. So it's not working, but it's working. It's doing the opposite of what I wanted to do now. And then if, yeah, so that's like auto dash. Alright, so I'm gonna change the script because it's getting flip-flopped, and I think that's because I'm doing it funky like this. I might as well just say get key. Yeah, I'm gonna say get key. And we'll just see what that does, and then the key code up is going to be the same because I don't want it to be held. Actually, I don't even need that there, and it won't use half of that script, and I'll just tell it right here, will dash equals false, because I mean if you're pressing all these buttons at once, you're just trying to glitch out the game anyways. So I'll just make it impossible to dash if you're doing that. And then of course you can always play the right way to dash. Oh, that happens if you don't pay attention. Okay, so it seems it's working now, but only sometimes. Huh. Weird. Yeah, it's working sometimes and not other times. Oh, I see down here. You can see that it's constantly running that function. Let's just get rid of that function. I think I'm overcomplicating things. I think I'm just gonna do this. Sure. A lot of it's guesswork. I'm also still new to this, even though I've been using this software since 2013 and I've been studying game design since 2007. I've been making game art since then as well. And I've been animating since high school. Been doing audio production since high school. But I'm still new to this because it's huge. Oh, getting killed. Alright, so the dash definitely works. So now the only issue is that you're pretty much invincible if you hold down space. But I just died, so it's not exactly true. But you're much faster. And that kind of gives you an unfair advantage. So what I'm going to do to even the playing field between mobile and computer is I'm going to make a bar, like a, you know, like a stamina bar basically, but for your dash. So it'd be like a dash bar. So that way if you're holding down space and constantly dashing, that dash bar is going to run out quicker and you won't be able to dash anymore. Meanwhile, if you're on mobile and you're only dashing like because you're hitting the button, then you won't run out of your dash stuff. And then if you really need to use a whole bunch, hopefully you have some stamina left. You like the stamina bar idea, Ricky? That's cool, man. Yeah, I've been thinking about it for a while, because I do want to make the game as quick as possible, because honestly I really like Sonic Spinball, which was like a spin-off of Sonic that used like pinball elements, and that's what I'm doing here, is I'm spinning off pinball with my own game elements. But I'd like it to be fast, but at the same time, if it goes too fast, it'll just be impossible to take care of as far as the physics and the collisions and all that stuff. I've already have the ball gone through the wall a couple times at this speed, so I don't know. I'll get it all figured out eventually. But I feel like the faster it goes, the more issues it's gonna have. Yeah, exactly, a power-up for unlimited stamina. That's a good idea. Yeah, I was thinking about maybe doing multiple power-ups for different levels. So like maybe different level sets would have different power-ups, and like as you progress, the game's power-ups would change. But this level's become a lot more playable now. I'm enjoying it. I think there's still too many bad guys, but it's kind of cool because it's a little overwhelming, and it's like, oh, there's so many bullets. I was also thinking about making the bad guy bullets a little bit smaller, I only made them that size as a test. I wanted to see what it would be like for them to be just slightly bigger than the pinball. But also, it makes them more accurate when they're larger, obviously. Although it's funny because the way that they're programmed is that they're not actually programmed to aim directly and hit. They're programmed to miss and hit by accident. Do you think the ladder levels are going to evolve into bullet hell situation? Yeah, I definitely think there's going to be some bullet hell going on. I'm going to try to fix it though, so it's not as well, I mean, it's already not following a lot of the shoot 'em up rules. So I mean, it's breaking rules. It's going to break rules. That's part of the intention of this game, though, is to break the boundaries with shoot 'em ups. And yeah, I mean, bullet hell is cool, but at the same time, like, I want to make it so it's more than just dodging. I want to make it so you can destroy certain bullets, and certain different bullets do different things, and you know, I want to make the level interactive, so like you can destroy parts of the level to get to other parts. You know, obviously the parts of the level that the player can and can't go through, where there's other parts that the ball can go through and can't go through. I'm going to keep playing with that. I've got a whole bunch of ideas that I've come up with, as well as a whole bunch of feedback and notes written from other people that have come up with some really great ideas from streams like these, just talking to people. Yeah, there was me and my friend Mark were talking about maybe putting in like a larger ship and have it like destroy part of the level, or like you know, take out some bad guys or something. I don't even know. Maybe have it a good guy or a bad guy, like a reconnaissance or ambush. Yeah, I mean, I'm learning the the limitations of the engine still, and I'm learning my own limitations still, and yeah, it's coming along though. It really is. I can see it because I've been playing it, and it's like, holy cow. Even if I throw on the original, well, the oldest scene I have, I no longer have the very first, but you can see here the art is completely different or missing, and the game probably doesn't even work. Yeah, because everything's different. I've changed the game so much that this doesn't even work anymore. I mean, it does, but look at that. And the ball is out. Also, the player's like squished there. So I'm not sure when you passed out, Ricky, but you probably didn't get to see the tube that I made. I'm gonna put a cap on that end, because this is the end that you're supposed to like accidentally find in the tutorial or whatever. Oh, and I can't seem to get it there now. This would be like part of the tutorial, but I also want to make it so the level, so it stops you from going backwards. You know what I mean? So this is the tube now. It's down there, and then it put it over there, and then like I said, I'm gonna put a cap on that end. But yeah, I can speed it up by dragging the ball. Where is the ball? Yeah. So I think that's actually going to be how the level starts, is that the ball is going to fall out of a tube and then the tube is going to get capped. So that way you know right away that the tube is like a transport for the ball. And I'm probably going to do like lives or something like that. And yeah, and I think that maybe that whole molecular disintegration thing I was talking about isn't really needed. I think the fact that you have the arrows telling you what direction the ball is, and then I could just, you know, set it up in a way that the ball is going to be okay when it lands and that it's not going to get killed right away, you know? Or maybe have like a timer even of like how long you have to go find it if it's like difficult to find. But yeah, I'd like to make the level kind of just like, you know, fill itself in as you go. So if you hit the ball backwards, then it won't go backwards. But then if you hit it down the hole, like the whole level like goes back to normal. So it kind of like be like an eye-opener, first level type thing, like, oh wow, animated level, you know, but it's animated to help you at first, and then later in the game the animations are gonna hurt you. It shot way over there, that's crazy. So the level works for what I was doing. It's definitely not, it's definitely incomplete. As you can see, it's not a complete level at all. But it's accomplishing what I was going for, which was to make it difficult to die. And I mean, you could still die, like as you can see, if the ball's right there and I don't dash, then it's gonna hurt me. But very easily now I can hold down the space bar and not get hurt. I'm pretty happy with that spacebar mechanic. It worked out a little bit quicker than I thought it would. I definitely went at it with more force than it needed as far as writing the script, but this is working. Alright, what do I need here? Hey Randy on Twitch, thanks for watching. I appreciate you stopping by my stream. Sorry I was a little slow on the seeing you in there. I'm also streaming on Facebook and talking to people on there as well. And yeah, I am releasing for Android. It's already actually in the alpha release for Android. You can actually play it right now on itch.io. You can download it for Android there, or you can play it on a web browser there. It doesn't work on a phone browser, but it'll work on your computer's browser. You can access the website from your phone and play it. It's different from the game that I'm playing here. This is the most recent build. But yeah, if you search Retro Spaceball on itch.io, you will find it, and give it a shot. Let me know what you think. If you're into testing, let me know. I'm looking for testers, I'm looking for artists, I'm trying to build a team, trying to build a community around this game, and I've been working on it for a couple of months, and I'm pretty passionate about it. I think this is where I'm at right now, so yeah, I'm glad that you're watching. Yeah, definitely gonna put it on Android Market when it's done. I was thinking about maybe for beta also. Right now it's still too early because it's I mean it's stable, but you can break it if you really try. Like you can push the ball through the wall. If you push the ball through the wall, you gotta restart the game. I'm gonna fix that. I just haven't gotten to it yet. But yeah, after I've got it stable, I think I'm gonna do Android Market, and then eventually, if it does well and I actually make any money off of it somehow, I'm gonna decide to license it for iOS and maybe try to do Steam Greenlight or whatever they call it now. I can't even remember. $100 sounds like a lot of money right now though. So right now I'm just doing Android because it's free. Unity's free. I'm using Piskel because it's free to make the sprites, and I'm using LMMS for the audio because it's free as well. And just doing it all myself. I studied animation in college, 3D animation, but I love 2D art and everything retro, and I'm all about old school pinball video games, and I'm all about top-down shooters. And I figured since I'm still new to the industry, and I'm still learning basically how to use Unity, even though I've been using it since 2013. There's still a lot to learn. I think it might be free to release it to the Apple Store, but it's not free to build the game to Apple. I'd have to pay for a license from Unity to build to iOS. I can do it for like a Mac desktop for free, but I can't do it to the phones for Apple for free, unfortunately. I could look it up. I forget the price, but it's not cheap. Okay, so it's $125 a month. Or it looks like I have to do Unity Pro in order to do that. Or something. Unity Answers has all the answers. You can do a lot of stuff for free with Unity. Here, I'll show you the build settings here. It comes with like a whole bunch of stuff, but when you try to build to it, it doesn't let you do it unless you have like what it needs. And since I don't, it won't let me build. Oh, and also you need an iOS phone to even start doing it. And I don't have an iOS phone. But yeah, right now, hey, what's going on, Shadow Fox? Just showing off my game, talking about Unity a little bit, talking about platform releases and stuff. Thanks for dropping by. I really appreciate it. Alright, and yeah, so what I'll do here now is I'll jump to the beginning of the game and I'll show you guys a bit since you guys are watching. I actually don't know how to code in C++, just C# and Unity script, and Unity's been what I've been using since 2013. I'm a artist by trade originally. That's what I studied in college, was 3D animation. But Unity works pretty well. I'd like to learn Unreal. Oh, cool, right on. Appreciate it. You mean the licensing issue that I was talking about earlier? Is that what you're talking about? You don't have to with Unreal? I'd like to learn Unreal. Oh, you mean C++ with those schematics or whatever they're called. Yeah, I'd like to learn Unreal. I'm sure I'm going to eventually, but right now I'm moving too quickly in Unity to stop. Right on, yeah. I kind of gathered that, but you know, if you want to like really push it, I'm pretty sure you got to. I mean, how do you write shaders in? I mean, do they have a? They probably have one of those like Shader Forge. What do they call it? Like a modular shader system where you build your modules and you link them together. I mean, yeah, that sounds cool. I actually paid money on Unity for a plugin that does that. Yeah, man, totally. I mean, I didn't start with mobile. This is actually the first mobile one that I've been doing, but it's actually a lot of fun. Well, no, I did try to do one other mobile game, but I didn't get very far on it. Yeah, I mean, honestly, I don't know enough about Unreal to really get into detail. I just follow different forums and stuff, and from what I just gather information from different people. It's all second or third hand knowledge. So I'm no authority when it comes to Unreal or Unity even. Shit. But I do like to program, so I mean, if you could use C# in Unreal, I would totally make the switch. Because C#'s pretty easy. I started programming with Director Script or some shit. I don't even remember what it was called. Macromedia. Before Adobe bought Flash, Macromedia owned Flash, and they also made a software called Director that was the precursor to Flash. So essentially, I was learning the precursor to ActionScript. And then I learned ActionScript, and then I learned HTML, and then I learned GML, which is Game Maker language, and then I started to learn little bits of C++ and like OpenGL, XNA, all that stuff. And it was just little bits here and there, and then eventually I learned Unity script, or some people call it JavaScript. It's not really JavaScript. And then I learned C#, and that's where I'm at today. But I dig it. I was able to make this auto dash pretty quickly in C#. I was pretty happy with that. Just did that on the stream. And I've made this level quite a bit easier. As you notice, I haven't really died a lot, so it's still not super easy. I've been getting a lot of feedback about the game being too hard. Well, it depends on what kind of game you're going for. Are you making a 2D game for your mobile thing? Your mobile game is a 2D? Or is it going to be 3D? Because, you know, obviously the 3D games, you're not going to worry about, well, you got texture resolution and you've got sprite resolution, you know, so. You started with Macromedia too, right on, cool, man. Okay, yeah, with 2D, I would say you probably don't want to go bigger than like 256 or something like that, but you totally can. It really depends on how much you want in your scene, and what devices you want it to be able to run on is another thing. What's nice about Android is that they all work pretty well. I'm not so sure about the iOS. I know that my last iPhone did not run games very well, but it was also a really crappy one, and I'll never go back. But yeah, it's, you know, there's compression, which you probably don't want to deal with. I would just make the sprites like 256 and turn off the compression, and it'll load fine. And I would say start building it right away. That's the best way to know, because it's gonna run great at first, and then push it to its limits. See what makes it slow down. See what doesn't make it slow down. That's exactly what I started doing with all these flashy animations. I was pushing to see if they would work on the phone, and they do. They work fine. And there's a crap load of them. Each one of these little texture blocks has an animation controller. And each one of the characters, each one of the bumpers, they all have animation controllers, and they're all running fine. I do seem to run into limitations in Unity, particularly when I'm stacking animation controllers. I don't think it handles that very well. But there's probably no need to do that. I'm probably making some mistakes somewhere. I just totally died. Now my friend on Facebook is saying he's playing the game on itch. If he shoots a power up, does it destroy it? If it went away as you shot it, it probably just ran into the collider that's above your ship, and I can show that to you so you're not as confused. There's some type of issue going on with the parent relationship of the ship, and I could probably fix this. Where is the... Well, first let me turn off the canvas here, and I'm going to jump to the player, and you see this little rectangle, these rectangles up here? They're actually the shooter tip, and I believe that is actually what is colliding with it and picking it up for you before you do. So you don't have to worry about shooting the pickups. If it's disappearing, that's just a collision glitch. I haven't tightened everything up, and things are spaced out to make sure that there's no accidental collisions. We can test bringing it in right now. The only reason why it's like the way it is because I haven't tested it. Let's see here. We got our shooter tip, and then we've got these other shooter tips here. They should be parented, but they're not. So what I'm just going to do is I'm going to drag it inside the player and see if it still shoots. Oh, first I gotta turn the canvas back on. Otherwise we got no gameplay. Essentially the game's controls are all turned off and the ball isn't there until you hit that button. And it looks like it's working, so that should fix that issue. So now everything looks a little tighter. Okay, so that time it looked like the bullet did do that. The bullet made it disappear. Oh, 256? I was talking about how many pixels the square would be of the texture. Sorry, I don't mean to go over. Yeah, okay. If you're working with the screen size, you're gonna have very large images. What we're talking about is textures, which are like, well, let me show you. We've got this free software here. It takes a second to load up, but and won't get blurry, screwed up graphics for larger or smaller screens resolutions. All right, so there's a couple different things there. As far as Unity versus Unreal, I'm not exactly sure what you would do in Unreal, but let's say so now this here, this is a really tiny image. I think this is what 32 by 32 pixels. Yeah. So if we change it to let's say 16. Then it's like super tiny, and there's really not much you can draw with 16 pixels, right? Or 16 by 16 pixels, 16 pixels squared. Alright, so we're going to jump that up to 256, and now we can actually draw something, right? I don't know what I'm drawing, but if I wanted to, I could add detail to it. And yeah, give him another eye and a mouth. So there's our character. Just fill him in. Oops, that wasn't the button. That's not what I want. Let's give him a dark red. Okay, so yeah, there is dude. Oh, you use Unity. Okay, so it's the other dude that I'm sorry. Shadow Fox is using Unreal. Okay, yeah. So in Unity, let's say I'll show you right now. I'll just save it as a PNG. Well, I'll export it as a PNG at 256 by 256. So that's just the straight raw size of it. Download it because it's a web app, but it's also desktop. I'm just gonna name it test image, and there should be no space there. And it saves as a PNG. I'm gonna load it up into Unity here, so I'm going to find it. Where did I put it? Retro Spaceball. There's our crappy little dude that I just drew up in a GIF, and we're just gonna, well, it's a good idea to have your folders open. So images and sprites, and we'll say these are enemy. So we'll bring them up, drop them in the enemy folder. Now here we're gonna change the settings on it. Now the max size is different for mobile and stuff. So if you start with something big, you can actually compress it down to something small for your mobile build and change it for your other thing. But I don't even want to bother with compression because I'm starting with such a small size. Why would I need to compress something that's only 256 pixels by 256 pixels? So I'm going to change it to bilinear for the resize algorithm, and the compression I'm going to put none because it'll mess up the image. So I'm going to change the the texture type to sprite, and we're going to change tight to full rect. What else? Clamp, bilinear, and then we're going to hit apply. So now I'm going to turn off my canvas here, and I'm going to find an enemy. And I'm just going to find the sprite. I'm going to put the new sprite on there. Where is he? Starts with a T. There he is. Alright, so as you can see, he's quite large. And that's at the size there. So, oh, it's been scaled up, that's why. So I'm going to put it back to 0. Oh, 1, sorry, not 0. I don't know what I was thinking. And then, yeah, where'd he go? Oh, so now he's nice and tiny, right? So we can scale him back up because that's too small. And now it's about the same size. I think I was doing oh, well, these are at different pixels. These ones were made at 32, I think. Or 128 maybe, and these are 256. So it's a little bit bigger. This would be a more high resolution image than that. I don't know if that answers any of your questions, but essentially that's how you would make graphic art for a mobile game. That's 2D in Unity. Everything else on the enemy is just kind of everything that was there before. So I'm just going to bring him back, and we should be good. And then the animations are nice. In this software you could just, you know, add another frame and then just like change it. Oop. Why is it doing that? Weird. Huh, that was weird. Glitch. Oh, huh, weird. Anyways, as you can see here, the more you animate it, you can actually make a sprite sheet out of it when you export it. Yeah, definitely messing with it's going to be the best way to learn. Totally play around with it, experimenting is how I learned. Also, there's tons and tons of tutorials out there. So if you need to learn a specific thing, just search Unity Answers or search YouTube, and you're gonna find what you need. It's nice to have this type of interaction where you can actually like say, hey, I need to learn this, and I can be like, oh, I know a little bit about that. You know, that type of thing. You played it, awesome. I appreciate that totally. Any feedback you want to give me, man, be harsh, be critical. I need to know how to make the game better. Totally looking for feedback, and I really appreciate you playing. Totally. So as you can see here, this would lay out your sprite sheet, and then I don't want to make a sprite sheet for it because I've got some sprite sheets here to show you. This one was a sprite sheet that I made here. This portal, haven't really gone into detail. I wanted to put more detail into it, but just haven't gotten to it yet. Eventually you can, so you just drag and drop the whole thing into your textures here, and you hit the sprite editor button, and here you say slice, and you can change how it slices it. Now automatic seems to work, but slice by size, and it's 64 by 64, and every 64 pixels it makes a new sprite for you. So then when you're animating it, you would just use your variety to choose from here to animate it. That's cool, man. Good luck with the gym equipment sale. I hope you make some money off that. And yeah, dude, if you want to play some more later, I totally appreciate that too. Tell your friends or whatever, you know. Yeah. So that's the sprite editor. That's how I made the animations. Let's see here. Grab a sip of water. Alright. So, gonna turn on the canvas here before I forget. And I'll just play through a little bit of the game here. Oh yeah, totally planning on streaming more often. I've actually been streaming every day for about 20 days. Usually more than once a day. I don't have a job right now. This is my job, is making this game. And now I'm learning that if I do it live, I'm doing better for the game. So I'm trying to do live as much as possible. I'm also the little bit of free time that I give myself to play games and stuff. I'm streaming that too, as well. I stream retro games, indie games, early access games, other people's demos, obviously my own game, and also some AAA games. Not too often, but kind of. But yeah, I'm planning on putting this into my life cycle for sure. once I have a job, I think that it's going to be a little bit easier to make a schedule and say like, I'll be on at this time and that. But mostly I've been doing it in the middle of the night, which is not really great for Twitch. No, I live in an apartment. 32 years old. My folks live in different states. I live in Arizona. I saved up money. I somehow managed to save up money, even though I was spending a lot. And I've really only been without a job since November. In October I got fired, probably because of my haircut. Unfortunately, I have dreadlocks that I'm taking out in the process of, and it'll be a lot easier to find a job without these dreadlocks. And my mother has given me some help as well. I have to thank her for that. She helped me out with this computer that I'm using, and the computer that I was using previously, after my computer, after a cat killed it, essentially. But yeah, it's not that I live without a job, it's just that like right now I'm in between jobs is what it is, and I'm really good at saving money. I've been following my passion as an artist my whole life, so I know how to save money and spend it on the things that are really important. Also, I barely go out ever. I was working at a custom frame shop. That's what I was doing previously. And they kind of had like high class clientele and stuff like that, so it made it a little bit, you know, I think that's really what happened. I think maybe a customer might have complained, like, oh, I don't like the guy with the dreadlocks, or something like that. But it was $13 an hour, so it was decent, but it was like they weren't treating me the best because I wanted to do stuff, and then they would be like, oh, well, you don't know how to do it yet, you're still in training, and you don't have any framing experience and stuff like that. I don't know, it was a big pain in the butt, getting fired or whatever, but I know that it was for the right reasons, because they weren't appreciating me. So, but I'm waiting to hear back from a very large company in California that reached out to me about a confidential project, so hopefully that all works out, and that's gonna be paying a lot more than $13 an hour. But it's, you know, it's difficult when you got an art degree, man. That's difficult. I don't have a computer science degree. I apply for game firms and studios and stuff like that, and I rarely get responses, and if I do, it's usually sorry. I haven't really gotten much opportunity in the field besides the opportunities I've created myself. That's kind of how you get good, though. You just gotta keep trying. Thanks, man. I appreciate it, and I'm sure it will work out eventually. I'm not too worried about it not working out. It's just when, you know. How long will it take, and how long can I hold on to my dreams here, you know, without selling my soul to some massive corporation. And then prior to the frame shop, I was at a call center, and that sucked, doing credit cards. So I don't know if you've ever had to deal with a credit card call center, but if you ever do, please be nice to the people, because they have a shitty job. Oh my god, I had to quit. I was making $13 an hour there as well, and well, first I was making only 12, and I had to ask them for another $1. And they're like, oh yeah, you know, you've got a degree, you know, we can give you another $1. And then next thing I know, they turned around and gave everyone a $1 raise. So, oh, thanks. But what you gonna do? I was happy to help everyone get their $1. And then yeah, call centers suck. I was doing chargebacks by the end of it. At first, I was just doing the technical support for the terminals. You know, the swipers. And mostly just people bitching about chip cards and shit. And downloading the new software for the chip cards and all that shit. There was a couple of major outages while I was working. That was crazy. It would take about 60 calls a day. Calls would last about 10 minutes. So yeah, it was a long day. It was 8 hours, but yeah, somehow I would still manage to get like an hour of reading in by the end of the day, because they like timed it that way or some shit. It was fucking weird. So I read a lot actually while I was working there. I'd work really hard, and then I'd have an hour to read, and they'd like stop the calls after I hit 60. But I did pretty good there actually. I was doing really well, and they didn't want to lose me. I was like, hey, can you take me out of chargebacks? And they're like, unfortunately we can't. Like, you signed up for it. I was like, but you asked me if I wanted to try it. They're like, no, you volunteered for it. I was like, no, that's not how it went down. I'm quitting. I'm out of here. And I did. I just quit. I was like, it's not right. You can't just lie to people like that. Not to mention, it was a very stressful job. Extremely stressful. Hey, what's up, Sean? I just saw that you joined. Just playing the game some more, showing it off. Alright, I think I'm gonna get back into coding that spacebar thing, because that seems to be interesting, and I'd like to do the dash thing. Oh, my novel? I'm sorry. I tend to talk a lot. It's part of working at a call center, I think. Ooh, just stretching. Stretching is extremely important if you plan on doing this for, you know, hours on end like I do. Alright, so let me find my scripts here. Jump back into the player control script. So we still have the space held thing. So what we can do is where was yours? Yeah, I don't know if yours showed up. I see up to what kind of work you do. That sucks. That would be awesome. Sorry for that novel. Was there something I missed there? Maybe it was too long. You had nice savings when you were younger? Oh man, dude, that sucks. Wow, man. Okay, yeah, so I'm reading it now. Yeah, it's weird that I think it was checking to see if there was anything like, you know, racist or whatever Twitch does. I'm not even sure. I don't have any settings like that, but I think it does its own thing. Anyways, that's crazy, man. I'm sorry to hear that about your girl, your ex robbing you, essentially. That sucks, man. I was in a, like, I don't want to say similar situation, because my situation wasn't nearly as crappy as yours, but I've definitely spent money on chicks and paid rent that shouldn't have been paid, will never get paid back, and that type of thing. And yeah, I had a savings that was depleted very quickly last year, and that's why I'm where I'm at right now, is because I spent way too much money on someone who didn't deserve it. But it will come back to you, man. It's karma, and I'm experiencing it right now. You know, I help some people out when I can, and then life helps me out, and I can feel great about that. It's some of the best gifts that I've received. And whatever happens to her, and someday hopefully she learns from her mistakes. That's all I can say, right? Because I'm done with that, and I hope you're done with your situation, and there's nothing tying you together. I cut ties, and it's done, you know? There's no going back through something like that. Alright, so I want to come up with an integer, or float. Yeah, I'll do a float for our dash stamina. We'll just call it stamina, right? Yeah, that'll just make it easier. Stamina. Alright, so our float stamina. Wow, 350,000. Wow, man. That's insane. I don't even know what that type of money is like. Wouldn't even know. I have no idea what that would be like to even have that type of money. So shit, I would probably give away that type of money too, because I don't know what it's like to have that type of money. I don't know if I'd feel comfortable with that type of money. My savings was like 7 grand. And it took me like a whole year to come up with it. Yeah. I wish I could make that type of cash. I probably would donate it though if I did, because that's a lot. Well, you know, man, unfortunately there's people like that need that type of money to feel okay with themselves. Yeah, it's hard to build up a bank account, man. But you know what I did? I was living with electricity that barely worked, and I didn't have running water, and there's no heat in the place, and it was in Illinois. So during when it got really cold, I would move in with my mom because it was available, and she was happy to have me. She had a nice sized basement. I did that for like a couple years without the water. I would bathe in the lake. I would bring lake water up to flush the toilets. It was like 3 flights of stairs, and it took 2 5-gallon buckets to flush the toilet. So I actually got pretty buff. I hated the weather in Illinois. Also, there was not a lot of work in Illinois. There's like very little work in Illinois. I mean, there's some, but it's not in games. You know, I was working at a pizza delivery place, and I was like, you know, 30, and I was like making games, designing stuff for bands and stuff. Yeah, I'm not too familiar with Georgia. I mean, I've driven through it a couple times, but I've never tried to live there or work there. But I can imagine that it's difficult everywhere. I'm pretty happy with Arizona, though. I gotta say, there's a pretty high minimum wage, you know, which kind of pushes everything up, and then there's actually quite a bit of opportunity out here. You know, I can't tell you how many job offers I've turned down because they're call center jobs. Just because I'm not going to put myself through that again. I'd rather be broke some more and have to skimp on groceries rather than work at a call center. That's the reality of how crappy call centers are. But if I don't land this job, and in California, then I'll probably end up, you know, at a grocery store or like a juice bar or something like that locally. There's tons of places that would hire me. It would be for 11 bucks an hour or whatever, you know, which is enough to pay my bills. So yeah, I was looking at the rates there. It doesn't look like it would be that great, but I think I found one that was like just around 1,000, so I could afford that with the job. That if they're talking about like 1870 or something like that per hour, which is a lot more than 13, which was my last job. So. And I was paying over $1,000 a month in rent while I was working for 13. So. And I still managed to save up enough money to live for a couple months without a job. So, and I was paying for my expensive girlfriend at the time. So. It's in Sunnyvale, so near Oakland and San Francisco there. But yeah, I had to take a test for the job, so we'll see after this holiday week is over how I did on the test, and you know, obviously I'll pass the background check and all that, but the test is really what it comes down to. The test was cool. They wanted me to learn Maya, like that. So we'll see how I did, but I actually feel like I did pretty good, considering I had never touched Maya before. I was all 3ds Max. Once I get these dreadlocks all out of my hair, a restaurant job is definitely a possibility. My issue that I had previously was that I was always ending up in the back of the house, being that I had dreadlocks. In the back of the house, they pay you minimum wage. They don't treat you very well. You know, everyone's a jerk back there. Cooks are not always nice, unfortunately. Yeah, it would be a little bit more north than LA for sure. Yeah, but without these dreadlocks, I could probably do front of the house. I mean, I have customer service experience. I'm decent with people. I don't really like people all that much, but I do my best to like the few that I can, you know, appreciate. I do well with strangers. I'm pretty good with just, you know, talking to people and stuff. But yeah, dreadlocks don't work very well with tips, or really anything. Dreadlocks are kind of just people. It's like a magnet for negativity. Oh, riding a bike, that sucks. Yeah. I could probably find a restaurant in walking distance here. I'm in Phoenix. I'm pretty close to, you know, downtown and all that. You know, I think it goes with the territory. If you do anything with customers, like front of the house or customer service or anything like that, you end up disliking the general population, because you understand that most people are kind of jerks, especially when you're the guy who has to deal with it, or the person that has to deal with it, you know. But I mean, I've done restaurant jobs before, but like I said, it's always the back of the house, so I don't even know how well I do at serving. Maybe a bartender, I'd be better at bartending, considering I don't really drink anymore. So stamina, let's see here, if it's held down. Can do if space held, then stamina that's not minus equals 1. If stamina. Now, I'm not a great coder. I just kind of do whatever I think is gonna work, and if it works, then it works. If it doesn't, then it doesn't. Alright, so if stamina equals or is less than 0, will dash equals false, will dash equals false. Yeah. Alright, and then else stamina equal plus equals 1. If stamina is greater than max stamina, then we want to equal the max. It sucks you grew up in a bad situation with death and abuse. That's shitty. I got threatened with juvie, and I had to deal with some physical abuse growing up. There wasn't a lot of death in my life until I was 25 or so, and I lost my best friend to a heroin overdose, unfortunately. He was 26. That fentanyl shit. Thanks, man. Yeah, I mean, this was back in, 2011, I want to say. 2011, yeah. And so, I mean, it's been a while, but yeah, it's still rough. I think about him every day, He was my very best friend all throughout grade school and stuff. I definitely enjoy the internet as far as meeting people. Like, it definitely helps, because you have a pretext of what you're gonna meet, what type of person you're gonna meet. Like, if I'm making a stream about game development, someone who hates games isn't really gonna be there, you know what I mean? But if I'm just meeting girls, there's a good chance one of them's gonna hate games. They might even like me, but hate games. They might even try to date me for a couple years and hate games, like my last girlfriend. Alright. So that should fix that, except we don't have a max stamina variable. Alright. So now, every frame that you're holding down the space bar, it's gonna take away from your dash. So I don't know if that's exact. No, is that what I want? No. What do I got here? Let me take another look at it. Yeah, we don't want it to happen there. That's not what I want. I want it to happen while you're dashing. Alright, so thank God I put notes in here. First time you press the right, second time you press the right. So this would be the one. Of course. Yeah. Or something. Dashing else. Dash move. Maybe I should have wrote better notes. Oh geez, man, I'm really sorry to hear that. Man, it sounds like you've had a really rough life. I'm sorry that you've been through all that. Wow, that's completely intense, and I don't know how you feel about the politics behind polygraph tests, but I don't agree with them at all. I don't think that it's accurate, and I don't think that it's something that should be used. But at least it worked for you and got you off of people thinking shit that wasn't true, and at least it got your sister to tell the truth. I'm not a big fan of liars. I consider myself to be an honest person, and I try my best to be honest in every occasion. Alright, so I'm not getting much done here on this script. Let's see. Normal move, dashing move, dashing, not dashing else, dash move. Okay, so this is where it's dashing. This is where we're going. So if it's dashing left, stamina equals that, that's what we need. Alright, so did I cut that out of here? No. I'll just leave that there so I know that it was. Oh. That way I don't confuse myself later on the road, like, is something missing? What did I do there? What the hell is that? I probably should have just done if not, but whatever. I have no idea how quickly the stamina is going to go down. Wow, 14 and they had you do a polygraph. That's intense, man. That's super intense. Yeah, I mean, obviously your life was completely affected by a polygraph. I could see how you would have a strong standpoint on it. You know, I mean, there's just not enough science to back it up, unfortunately, and it's like if there is science behind it, they're not really showing it to us. They're not testing it in front of us or any of that. But, yeah, 14 is a really young age to be going through all that. I don't have a good relationship with my brother. I don't speak to him anymore. At all. I haven't spoke to him in years. It's doing this. If you hold down both buttons, it gets a little glitchy. So see how it's doing a slow, and then yeah, well obviously I'm gonna have to pause it and see. Where's the player? Let's see what the stamina is doing. Okay, so his stamina is really low, and he's still able to dash. So that's not good. So what we need to do is we need to go back here and put in a stamina check. Here, if stamina is more than 0, oh, there we go. Right on, man. I just read what you wrote. I'll wait until you come back to respond. Oop, too far. Where is that? Oh, control. Stamina. Alright. So now I'm watching the stamina here. And I'm gonna hold down the space bar and just kind of deplete my stamina. Right? Why doesn't that work? Huh. Oh, because stamina's at 0, I gotta start with stamina. We're gonna start with 100, and we're gonna call it 100. Can't have those empty. Dude. Alright, so now we can dash. And it goes pretty quick. But it goes up just as quick. So what we're going to do now is we're going to code a rate. So that way we can control it. Stamina rate. Stamina rate is going to be our stamina increase rate. Oh, can't spell. Stamina rate. And we're going to use that for the deke rate as well. so it'll be equal. If we want, we could change it. We could change it to a decrate, but this will work for now. I kind of want it to be equal. I'm gonna restart it. Alright, so since it's set to 0, it's not decreasing at all. I'm gonna set it to 0.5. And so now you can get a pretty good number of dashes before it runs out. I don't want the space held to stop it, because I don't think the space should do it. It should be when you're actually using it, so that way it's across platforms. We want it to be easier on mobile. Where is that? Oh, up here. Fifth space. Yeah, so I'm just gonna dashing. So as long as dashing is not true, that's what I need. I'm just gonna leave that there because it would be an easier spot. Hey, you're back. Oh, that's cool, man. That's cool. I hope you made some profit off that. A rowing machine would actually be pretty decent. Nice and compact workout tool. Get all the right spots for a programmer. Back and your shoulders and your neck, arms. Ugh. Just doing a little stretch here and thinking about it. Alright, so I think I figured out the whole stamina thing here. I changed up the script a little bit, and now I'm going to restart it, and let's see here. We're going to dash. Oh, we need to increase rate. I'm going to change that to 0.7. 0.5 was a little bit too lenient. Oh, I got you. That sucks, man. As for, like, you know, your sister, man, I don't blame you for not wanting to talk to her, but, you know, you should wish for the best, man, because people, even if they were shit at one point, they're susceptible to change. Even if they were complete shit, you know, the worst person in the world, that doesn't mean that they're you know, it doesn't mean that they're definitely going to be shitty for the rest of their life. It just means that they had a shitty spot and that you were witness to it. And I'm sorry that you went through it, and I can understand where you're coming from, but, you know, eventually try to find it in your heart to look for forgiveness for your own sake, because it's just going to be easier to deal with if you're not stressing over something that, let's face it, she don't care about. She never cared, or if she cared, she wouldn't have done this shit in the first place, right? That's the boat I'm in, at least, you know. And liars have a way of making you feel like they do care, or that they did give a shit when they didn't, you know. Wow, I went through that whole playlist. let's see here. I fixed the max speed. I want to take a look at it though. Player. There it is. Alright, so now it's coming back up way too fast. So I actually went the other way. I want 0.3. Oh, I'm gonna turn it off and do it. Yeah, you know, I try to get enough exercise in, but I don't use any machinery to do it. It's all just so expensive, you know. And then I've been thinking about getting like a couple free weights at like Goodwill or something like that, but honestly, I don't really think it's completely necessary. I'm not really trying to bulk up. I just want to stay fit, you know. I quit smoking. I mean, I still smoke herb, but that doesn't do anything bad to you. I don't drink nearly as much as I used to. Every once in a while I'll have a beer or two, but I don't really get drunk. I used to get hammered and shit-faced and blackout, make huge mistakes and all that stuff, but got out of that slowly but surely. Yeah, I mean, she might be a psychopath, and she might be. Wow, I glitched out the game. So there are some game-breaking bugs here. She might be a psychopath, and she might be, you know, just never care about people, you know, a sociopath or whatever. But man, you know, it's for you, man. If you just hold on to all of this negativity towards someone, then you're holding on to negativity. It doesn't matter if it's towards anyone. It might as well be towards yourself because you're holding on to negativity. So, I mean, I'm not trying to tell you what to do, but eventually you're gonna want to get rid of all the negativity in your life. And yeah, I mean, I don't talk to my brother, but I've hoped the best for him. I hope that he stays the fuck away from me. I hope that he never tries to kick my ass again. And I hope that he does well by himself over there, and I don't ever have to deal with him, you know. And if his wife thinks I'm a fucking asshole, then whatever. I don't care. I don't even know her. If his son, you know, doesn't get to meet me until he's old enough to go out on his own and try to meet me, then that's fine. I didn't know my uncles, and it's because my uncles didn't get along with my dad. So it's just one of those things. I'm not too worried about it, and I don't let it burden my soul as much as I used to. Where I would wake up with like post-traumatic stress disorder type dreams and night terrors of like getting my ass kicked or kicking my brother's ass, or you know, dreams about fights that happened in high school and that type of stuff. Oh, he was abusive. He beat the shit out of me like my whole life. You know. I think my mom always said it best when she said if she gave me like, you know, 2 pieces of candy, I would give 1 to my brother. Whereas if she gave my brother 2 pieces of candy, he would eat them both for himself and not tell me at all. And it just kind of spiraled out of control from that until, you know, we were living without parents in the same house, and he was being abusive then, and eventually he was abusive towards one of the girls I was dating, and I had to call the cops because he was getting crazy, you know. He was tearing down the ceiling tiles and fucking smashing shit, and fucking house was a wreck after that. I had to call the cops, and they got him out of the place, and then I lived by myself in that place for like 10 years or so, and he just kept on going. Life kept handing him opportunities, and he just kept fucking him up. So it's like he's got a better job than me, but he's also got you know, a lot more issues than I have that I don't really want to go into because I don't really know him that well. I don't talk to him. I don't want to air his issues, but he's got issues. You know, I have my own issues, but they're all sorted. It's, you know, I have a college degree that doesn't land me many jobs, and I'm into art that doesn't make me a lot of money. I care about eating healthy, and I care about the technology that I can afford, and that's about it, you know. And I appreciate you telling me you're sorry. It was shitty. But you live, you know, or I lived. I'm lucky I lived, right? You know, he wasn't that crazy. He could have been crazier. I don't know. And I'm out of it, you know. And then later in life, my mother was dating an abusive guy for a while. Like, I guess it started when I was about 7, and they were together for like 10 years. So until I was about 17. And I eventually ran away from home because the abuse got too much, you know, and it was crazy. That's how I started my adult life, was by running away from home because the abuse was too much. So I can kind of relate to you, but it sounds like you've had a much harder life than I. And I don't think I changed anything that I did. I think I did everything the right way to get me where I'm going. I chose a life path that's difficult, and I'm not ashamed of that, and I'm not super proud of it. But here I am on a difficult life path. You know, that's just how it goes. Well, man, we've been talking for a while here, and I haven't really eaten much for lunch here, and it doesn't seem like anyone else is really watching the stream at this point. Yeah, it looks like it's just you and me, maybe one other person. It's hard to tell. But I think I'm gonna get some food in me, and then I might start back up later, probably in like 2 hours, maybe. Well, it's what, 9 o'clock already? I don't know. We'll see. 2 or 3 hours I'll probably be back on, either doing this again or streaming a game. One or the other. I'm not really sure yet. But I should get some food in me. As far as running away from home goes, I mean, I got, you know, picked up by the police after like the 3rd night, and they took me back to my mom, and I was just like, Mom, I'm just going to run away again if you don't let me leave. And she's like, okay, you can leave. Yeah, there really is no comparing people's pasts. It's all relevant, and life does suck sometimes. But you know, it's a sine wave. It goes up and it goes down. It's a roller coaster. You know, all the highs that you have, there's a necessary low that is inevitably there. Otherwise, you wouldn't be able to appreciate the high. Yeah, man. Yeah, stop by anytime, and I'll stop by your stream too. I'll follow you here, so I know where you're at, and I'll see what you're up to. Thanks again on the compliment on the game there, man. Appreciate it. Well, I'm gonna sign off here. Take care, and I'll see you around for sure. Peace.